You see? Okay, great. So good morning, everyone. I am Zachary. I'm also a DigiPen student, just like Andrew. And I would also like to present my team's final game project, Noire, final year game project, Noire. All right, so for the team, okay. So this is our team. Our team consists of 10 people in total, right? Just one less person than Andrew's team. And unfortunately for today, most of my team members are actually busy with their own commitments. However, apart from me, we have Shaw, who's our UX and story, our head of UX and story writing, and Dexter, our tech lead as well, who is also in the chat. I believe Brian is also in the chat. I actually do not know whether his name is just Brian on the chat. But yeah, so most of my team will be busy today. But we do have the key people here today to present this to you. So for our game concept, before I show the trailer and start going on to the demo, our game concept is about a private investigator in the 1950s who tries to take on the mafia on her own. However, she gets kidnapped along with her brother, and the mafia decides to hire scientists to experiment on them. And the next thing you know, she wakes up in a warehouse, not knowing what's happening. And even without knowing any reason, she realizes that she has new shadow powers that she can use to fight against the mafia. And now she wants to seek revenge and answers for where her brother is, what's going on, why does she have her powers, right? So allow me to just show the trailer. Okay.
What happened to you? My shadow just talked.
And that shadow is your brother.
Then let me help you.
The twins! They're gone! Everyone remain calm.
You can run, but you cannot hide. Where are you?
Attention! The twins has caused too much damage. Should you see them, kill them!
Too bad your brother can't save you this time.
It matters not to me. I'm here to take my brother's body back.
Okay, so that was our gameplay trailer. Now I would like to let's let Shaw share his screen, because Shaw will be playing today and I will commentate.
Okay, can you guys hear anything? Okay, all right, let's start.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so this is our opening cutscene to tell more about the story of how they were trying to investigate into the mafia and they ended up getting kidnapped and experimented on. So after this cutscene, she will wake up and she will realize that now she has new shadow powers. And we will show you how she's going to use that to overcome her current predicament as well. Okay. Unfortunately, due to the limitations of Zoom, I believe that I can't actually speak over the dialogue like right now, because it will be difficult to hear me. So if the dialogue is playing, I will just try to keep quiet and not talk over it too much.
Okay, sorry. I think the game itself, right, the audio is either super soft or can't really hear anything.
Already?
Yeah, so maybe Shaw, you try increasing the volume a bit.
Is this good? Not too loud, right? No.
Key.
Oh,
Key.
okay, yeah. Alright, so let's talk about the first mechanic here that you can see, which is the stretch. She is able to use her shadow to stretch across the wall and even use it to teleport past the gate, right? So something that if you did not catch it during the dialogue earlier was that both her and her brother were kidnapped, and turns out that the shadow is actually her brother, and now they've become one. All right. So the shadow is her brother, and the physical body is Noire herself. So that's one of the powers that being combined with her brother has granted her, which is to stretch across the walls. Right. And now we come out to the warehouse, and oh, there are baddies all over the place. All right. So the first problem with these baddies is that this game, if you can't tell already, it's actually a stealth action game. So if you run, they will actually pick up on your position. But for now, let's see how you can take them down. All right, and there you go. Okay. All right, and there you go. So if you step on the enemy shadow, you can actually absorb their soul, and that's how you take them down. The next ability that they have is the swimming ability. So if you're standing on an actual shadow right now, you can actually swim past enemies and they won't be able to see you. You will dissolve into the shadow world and no one's able to see you at all. Yes, it's like Splatoon. Similar. Another mechanic that we have in the game is this light switch. Right? It looks like a switch, but actually, yes, you can actually change the direction of the lights inside the warehouse to better suit your needs, because sometimes the enemy's shadows are in a really, really bad position and you have to try and find a favorable position for you to overcome these problems that you face. Right?
This is what the switch was for.
Yeah, that was quite clever.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so another thing that we would like to show you is about how the different ways that you can get yourself into trouble, which is to alert the enemies. So there's two main ways to do. One is this worker over here. He actually does not attack you, but he's very, very scared, and his screams will alert the other enemies, the other baddies with the baseball bats over there. Yes, right? So to escape, you have to hide in the shadow, and he will lose sight of you after a while. Okay, another way to get him to alert you is, apart from walking in front of him, right? He can actually hear the sounds of your footsteps when you run. All right. Yes, he's just going there to snap the enemy out of it.
Good.
Okay, so yes, that's some of the challenges that you will have to overcome as you play the game as well. So throughout this game, that's how the game loop works. You analyze the situation, look around, see what you can use, and try to take down the enemies and reach the end goal. And eventually there'll be a final boss where you have to fight the mafia leader. All right. So a bit more about the mechanics of the game. If you did not realize, right, that the stretch and the swim are kind of like opposites of each other, wherein you can only swim inside the shadow of another object. You have to be in the shadow of another object to be able to swim. However, if you want to stretch, you have to be outside of the shadow. Yes. Also, you can use the stretch to sneak up on enemies and then take them down. So from afar as well, just stretch up. Okay, yes. Another thing to note is that when you stretch, if your shadow touches another shadow, you will be booted out of the shadow world. That's something to note of, right? So more about the UI design of the game. For this game, in our game, you realize everything is conveniently in black, white, and gray. However, key objects are actually colored. For example, this light switch is yellow, and our enemies, they are red and orange. So from across based on the spectrum, right, red is the most dangerous, which is our main enemies that will chase you, followed by orange, who will alert other enemies if they are nearby. And also, if you didn't notice, right, the UI prompts that you get also differ based on what is available. So for example, right, our stretch and swim and absorb, they are all these dark, they are colored black, and they're all these dark, gooey liquid forms, kind of like the shadows and the energy that flows from the shadows. However, if you walk up to the light switch, you'll realize that the UI is more of a solid form, which is, and these two contrasting UIs are meant to differentiate between the sister who is in her own mortal body, as well as the brother who is currently her own shadow. And that's what the contrast is. It's about what the sister is able to do and what the brother is able to do as well, right? So I think that's good enough for the demo. Now we would like to move on to the Q&A session.
So is there a link to play the game? Oh yeah, paste your link.
Okay, so
is the brother dead, like not mortal or what?
Not
or trade secret?
exactly. It's not exactly dead. He's the shadow. The sister is trying to find his body. All right. So I'm gonna paste this link inside the chat, which is a link to all our LinkedIn and portfolios, the entire team's LinkedIn and portfolios on their website. And now I would like to.
Okay. The link contains the link to your game to play, right?
Unfortunately, no, we don't have a link up yet. We need to. Our team hasn't actually. It will be available on the DigiPen Games Gallery soon.
Okay.
My team wasn't able to submit it earlier. I believe you can find Andrew's game as well, Kindred, on the DigiPen Games Gallery right now. But for my team, we weren't able to submit it earlier because we were having certain issues that we didn't want to submit the game yet. So because after our final submission, there were still other improvements that you wanted to add to the game. So we had not submitted it yet. Because everything in the game, like I believe there was a question earlier, right? Is not commercial engine, is also a custom-made engine that, and because of the rules of DigiPen, we have to do it all custom-made as well. And everything in this game is all custom-made. Okay? From the art assets was drawn by Shaw and the other designer, Darren. The music and sound was done completely by me. I had to compose them and create the sound effects as well. And the story writing also done by Shaw, and the game design, the game mechanics, everything that was programmed was all done by the teams of 10 as well. All right. So are there any other questions?
Yes. So any plans to further develop the game, or you're good?
I think my team is, we're kind of happy with what we have. We have 3 levels and a boss. I think for the game itself, with our small team of 10, actually it was quite a feat because it was not easy. We have to do it's unusual because no one taught us how to do shadow detection. We had to figure all this math out on our own. Like, how do you know whether the player is standing on the shadow or not? How do you climb up the wall? How do you even check whether there's a shadow being casted on the wall as well? It was a tough struggle, and it really like pushed my team to the limit because my team, we are not like the top students in the school, but we would like to try our best as well. And this is us like really trying to push ourselves to the limit as well.
Okay, so last question before we move on. Do you have any experience with audio? If not, why do you choose to do the audio for the game?
It's okay. It's before I came into DigiPen, I had no experience with audio. I learned music on my own. I learned the piano and I learned the bass guitar. I took music theory as well from ABRSM, but I actually have no experience prior to DigiPen. However, in year 2, when I did my second year project along with Andrew, we needed to make our own sound effects. And the problem is that the shared audio library in the school, the audio gets pretty distasteful after a while. So I thought that it would be better if I composed my own audio to try and one up all the other teams as well. And from then on, I also started to do the same thing for this project as well. It's more of a personal interest because it's more of my personal interest in music as well. And like, it was something interesting